everyone, and happy March 16th of 2022. My name is Jenna Matlin, and this is my mostly weekly Wednesday Will You Give Me a Reading ensemble. Today we are going to talk about luck. This is an idea that I came up with, because tomorrow's St. Patty's Day, and then I was thinking of Ireland and thinking of four-leaf clovers and the luck of the Irish. By the way, we have one room, beautiful tower room left last minute. If you want to come to Ireland in a month with us and spend 10 days touring Ireland, vibing with the liminal spaces and getting your psychic game strong, reach out and let me know if you are feeling called to take this with us. I would certainly love to have you. So for today, we are going to spend the half an hour together, and then I'm going to move over to Instagram, where I will kind of be talking about luck again. But the YouTube is really great because with StreamYard, thank you very much, StreamYard, I'm able to show you my document camera, and you can see my cards, and I can really show you what's going on with the kind of tarot systems. So this was really fun romp for me in tarot history. I had such a good time about doing luck and tarot, and I also had a really just wonderful just thinking about the nature of luck in general. And it's funny to me that tarot was originally a game system before it became a divination system. And it was definitely part and parcel of the world of gambling. But we don't, as tarot readers and tarot clients, we typically do not do readings about luck. We want to do a reading to decrease the luck factor of random chance and try to get as close to a an answer as possible. Is this going to happen? Is this not going to happen? And I think that's really interesting, because while we come to tarot for clarity, I definitely use tarot in a way that is more probabilistic than certain. And so when I looked through the history of tarot and luck, I did see that is it chance? Is it probabilistic, or is there a spiritual deity nudging the tables for against my favor? It definitely is part and parcel through Europe, and especially in the Middle Ages when tarot was created. So I wanted to start off with talking about the word luck. So the English noun luck doesn't show up until the late 1400s, and it seems like it came from maybe the Low German or Dutch word. I don't know how to say this, luk or luck, Luk, a short form of geluk. Or geluk, and they believe that it entered English as a gambling term. Um, and so it remains, the context of gambling remains detectable in the connotations of the word luck. But it's fascinating because when we think about luck in general, we think of luck really coming from three different places. That luck is a good or bad event from a naturalistic perspective. Luck is the result of chance, and luck applies to a sentient being. And all three of those can have some kind of form when we're looking at whether we're lucky or unlucky, or they're such otherwise. But before the word luck really came into the English nomenclature in the late 1400s, there was more of an Old English or Middle English word, which was more expressed as good fortune. And you and I may know that as Godspeed. The word speed was a kind of, it means like prosperity, abundance, good fortune. So Speed basically was like in video game terms, like a buff. God is buffing you with like extra something or providence or whatever you. So, the word like good speed or Godspeed is not associated with the notion of probability or chance, but more closer to that divine help and fate situation, which is pretty neat. Hey, Susan. And so the notion of probabilistics, of probability, of like the random fall of chance, we see that because chance actually has Latin roots. Um, the It's a loan word from Latin, and we start to see that in Middle English in the late 1200s, 13th century, or is it the 1400s? Oh, anyways, whatever, 13th century, describing an outcome as falling, as in the chance of the dice. And it comes from a late Latin, cadentia, falling. So, right at the time that luck came into the English language, and you also had chance come into the language, you get this crescendo effect of this fated deterministic way of looking at what we know now as luck, and also the more just random probabilities of the falling of the dice. So I think that like it is just so cool because I mean, we still interchangeably use both of these ways of seeing luck today. And some of us, who are more of the new agey bent or whatever, Carl Jung, who also was a tarot person, did coin the term synchronicity. And this is a word you hear a lot of, which is it just means a meaningful coincidence. So, it behooves us, since tarot and gambling and luck, the probabilities of luck, of course, we should look at it that way too when we're looking for luck. How is the luck going to go for us in a reading? I mean, just think about the colloquialisms we have, like in the cards. It's in the cards, right? Or is it in the cards? Or you should play your cards right, or the cards are stacked against you. So I feel that definitely, when we're looking at tarot and luck, I want to take us to the earlier or no, earlier form of tarot, which is the Marseille, which I'm going to start off with today because that is the deck that was actually used for games and gambling, whereas the Rider Waite Smith got the Golden Dawn treatment, right, and then became more of a spiritual bent. So if we're going to talk about luck, I want to talk about the older forms of tarot. Hey, Marion. Um, so yeah. So, in fact, the first time we see any condemnation around tarot happened in the 15th century. It was a Dominican preacher. He inveighed against the evil inherent in the cards, but not because anyone was using it for divination, but rather because it was being used as gambling. And that's also evil. So tarot's first role as an instrument of evil was as a gaming system and in gambling, and only later for divination. So it's kind of a double whammy. You've been screwed from the get go if you use tarot. But interestingly, there was something I wish I could give you. I didn't have the time to rummage around and find my source for this. I just remember reading it somewhere that um, early forms of the major arcana of tarot were used as talismans, to bring energies or to keep energies away. So there's a bit of that like lucky item to shift your luck that was already pretty inherent in tarot before it was used as a divination system, which I thought was pretty cool. And also, I mean, tarot to this day is used in a number of playing card games. One of them is Tarocchi in Italy. There's also games in Germany and France. So we are going to look at that, and I'm going to marry some common day tarot game systems to help us determine whether a question that we're looking at, what will it mean for us in terms of luck. So I, to be honest, like I have never read tarot in this way, and it's certainly my own little research is now added a layer to how I'm going to read in a way I never have before. So I'm really excited about it. The one thing I do also want to mention before I get into the cards is I think it's really interesting that we use tarot in a way to determine something more clearly. Am I going to get the job, right? Or am I going to get the house? Or is this thing going to work out for me? So we are looking for, a more deterministic outcome. But tarot itself is a game of luck. And I think it's kind of funny that we shuffle the cards, right? So we are randomizing, luckifying, chancifying the cards that are going to show up in a reading, whether we take them from the top or we fan them out and pull them. So I think it's very interesting that even within the artifacts of reading tarot in a divinatory way, we have definitely taken with us its gambling ancestry, and we've just put it all together. So I think that that's something that deserves more thinking about that I didn't have time to think about. But I was like, wow, why do we like shuffle and randomize it, but then expect like extra clarity more than usual to show up for us when answering a question? Let's unpack that. What does that actually mean? I know that for myself, when I do readings for clients and whatnot, I'm rarely like, this is 100% this or 100% that. I'm really looking at things in a probabilistic way. Matter of fact, I had a client recently reach out and wanted to know about their move, but they hadn't made any decisions about the move just yet, whether they were even going to do it or not. But they wanted to know how it was going to go if they, in fact, did it. And the way I read, um, I can read that. What would this look like if I moved to Ohio or whatever, as an example? But until you've started putting that action in motion, then the probabilities, the luck, the chance actions are going to shift. So to me, this is the difference between trying to track a hurricane that's currently in the Atlantic Ocean and trying to see where is it going to hit? Is it going to hit landfall in North Carolina? Is it going to hit Florida? Is it not going to hit anybody? um trying to do that the year prior, like, well, is a hurricane going to hit the coast a year from now? So we do have these probabilistic ways of looking at things in terms of percentages. I'll often give percentages based on the cards that I'm seeing. So not often a yes or no, but like you could get the job, but my feeling is it's closer to maybe 80% is the vibe I'm getting here. And even that can shift, because I've seen that too, like some sudden, like big time shift that changed everything, and you're just sitting there stunned. So, anyways, I love this kind of stuff. I love thinking about this kind of stuff. And I'm going to get into how you may also think about this stuff as well. So, I'm going to bring on your, let's see here. All right. I hope all of you guys at home can see my deck clearly. So I'm going to start off with the CBD Tarot de Marseille. This was created by Yoav Ben Dov. Rest in peace. Great loss to the tarot community. But what I love about him and his treatment of the Marseille is he, by trade, was a professor of physics. So if anyone can understand probabilities and spooky action at a distance and strange quantum entanglements and bring it into the tarot world, it would have been this man. So we're going to look at the CBD Tarot de Marseille. And we're just going to kind of get through this cool way of looking at the cards from a gamified historical aspect towards looking at it, in tarot. So with the Fool, so the original meaning of the Fool was Lamat, which more closely is like a very non-PC kind of way of things. Someone who does not have intelligence, or maybe even inbred, who knows? But for whatever reason, this is not the brightest bulb, shall we say, one taco short of a Mexican special. Um, but when the Fool Lamat is used, and it's interesting because his imagery has changed over time. Like some of the older imagery actually shows his genitals dangling out, and the dog kind of going after them. Like definitely, the tarot has kind of calmed down in some senses, but Lamat is a really interesting card when we're looking at gamifying um, or luckifying a reading. So the one thing is when we're looking at like Taroki or some of the other trick taking games that you can play with tarot, the Fool is not considered a major arcana card, even though a lot of modern day readers, we do tend to see the Fool as part of the major arcana. But historically, it is not. It is outside of that. The Fool is neither the major arcana or minor arcana. And often you will see that there's no, with the very original cards, there's not even a zero on it. It's just like it is the null. There's just, it's not even a number. It's not even the zero number. So I think that's an interesting way of looking at the Fool, that the Fool is not even the major arcana, and really thinking about what does that look like. So in these games, the Fool is called the excuse. And in gameplay, it allows like one-time play against standard rules. So if you play like a trick and then you add the Fool to it, the Fool basically changes the rules, or gives you an excuse, like a way out of having to follow the rules in the next round of play. And so when we're thinking about luck and tarot, the Fool can be seen as luck that is going to maybe even be extraordinary. It's purely like, it makes no flippin' sense why this lucky thing is going to happen one way or the other. But typically it's towards a more positive bent. So like, this shouldn't have worked. Like crazy statistics of chance, like a man being struck by lightning twice, maybe, like, oh my god, or surviving something insane that they shouldn't have. Like, how did this happen? And I love that when I think about the Fool in terms of luck. And I think about the Fool because the Fool archetypically has such an important role in world cultures. So with Native Americans, you have the Heyoka, which is like the sacred clown, backwards, contrary nature. I'm thinking of, I believe it's Nasruddin. This was a man who rides backwards on his donkey and is well known to Turkey and a lot of the Middle East, the sacred Fool. And also maybe, gosh, like maybe the Emperor Without Any Clothes, like the child is the Fool. So in like the Rider-Waite system, we really see Fool as like the innocent, which is more like the child. But there is a much more down and dirty way of seeing the Fool when it comes to Marseille. And we can use that to help us when we're doing readings on probabilities and luck in tarot. So the next card that I want to talk to, that I think has significant like luck work in tarot is the magician or les bateleurs. And les bateleurs, so the fool was considered like, of course, the lowest in society. He didn't have any status, right? Like he was just wandering around and maybe people took care of him. And then the next person up, who in Middle Ages culture, in Europe, was the street performer, or artisan. Like they were not considered like very high up in the in that world at that time. So le bateleur can mean street like magician or acrobat even. And I feel that we want to look at this and give it the RWS treatment. And he's about the great manifester and whatever. But the street magician is got a very different vibe in the Marseille and when you play him in traditional games. So in most tarot games, the Bagato is the lowest ranking trump card, but he's worth a lot of points at the end. And so I really think like what's so cool about the magician is if you look like on his table, yeah, you can say that like there's um, you know, the four, other suits on the table, but I'm also seeing like balls and cups, like sleight of hand tricks, and also maybe some like luck. So maybe you're gonna go, you're downtown, you've got an hour to kill. And then there is the street magician. You're going to go and play a little game with him and see if you can win a little money or you're going to lose a little money. And I feel like that to me really speaks to the energy of Les Bateleurs. Now, it's interesting because if any of you know Alejandro Jodorowsky, if I'm saying that right, he is a just amazing artist, philosopher, true Renaissance man who's done a lot of amazing work with tarot. And what he says of Les Bateleurs, well, he calls attention to a few things. One of them is that one of his hands has 6 fingers. Yeah, Christina, shell game. Absolutely. That's what I see too. So one of his hands has 6 fingers, not 5. And also, we're only seeing 3, like where is the other, why is the table out of perspective? We don't get to see the 4th leg. So again, kind of sleight of hand, like a trick, more of a trickster kind of vibe than we would normally give the magician in from a RWS context. Um, so Jodorowsky interprets really this magician as a symbol of manipulating and reorganizing reality. So, what does that mean when we're thinking about the magician and luck? Well, in tarot games, the magician is can be played. Let me see. I'm looking at my notes here. Um, the magician can be played in a way that's kind of similar to the fool. Hey, Jamie, I didn't see you. Uh, but but it doesn't have quite as many like it's like the magician and the fool are both wild cards essentially, and you can use them to kind of break the rules essentially. Here's the cool thing. In traditional Taroki and in traditional other like trick-taking games, these two can often play as a set together. So if you have the both of them together, the fool and the magician can be used. They're called a contatori. Counters are wild cards, and they can assist in making sequences. So they can kind of work together. So in a reading, if you do get the both of them, that's, like, really powerful. So it can be to me, it can mean, like, luck won by some manipulation, but also a bit of chance. Like, there's, like, a little bit of, like, the fool's luck going on, but also you've been a little tricky, but fortune is smiling on your, that this working out for you in some way. Yeah, he's kind of shifty. Well, I don't know. I think he's like a carny, really, is how I think of him, right? Like you might be able to get that ring on the block or those bottles, right, to win the big stuffed animal. But you've got to do it in a real specific way to do it. So there is some luck, some strategy, and some cleverness. So, when I think of the magician and the fool, like that combination, and what does that look like in a modern sense? The two that immediately come to mind to me are Frodo and Samwise Gamgee. You know, you have the magician, he's like, "I don't know, like, I'm clever, like, I'm trying to figure my way out, I'm hiding behind a rock, and then I'm running." And then the fool who's just like, "Whatever, I don't even know what I'm doing, but I'm here for you." So when I think of the magician and the fool, to me, yeah, like Frodo and Samwise can be like a positive connotation, and look how they got all the way to the gates of Mordor, often by an incredible amount of luck, or some might say, fate. But I think that that's a cool way to look at it through a modern lens. So if you get the both of these in a luck reading, I do feel it's like, all right, like you've got two kinds of luck working for you. um, you've got the luck where what you're trying to do is going to work in your favor a little bit, a little sly, and also, but a lot of like, I don't even know, dumb. It's just gonna somehow work in your favor. So I think that's really, really interesting to me. Now, there's another card that's not traditionally associated with luck, and doesn't um, like really. So most of the rest of these I'm not going to talk about from a gaming system perspective, but just ways that I kind of see them and how they can affect the way you're going to read luck on something. So the next, oh, there they are. Okay, sorry, they're out of sequence. No. All right, here we go. So for me, like the lovers may often indicate more divine chance or divine troublesome chance, divine luck. Here we have another way that the lovers has shifted over time to become, the lovers got the Victoriana treatment where it became very like divine and pure and all of that. But here we have, two women, one older, one younger, and then you have Cupid like about to hit somebody. So Cupid is known for being very trickstery, and traditionally he has two types of arrows. One is at lead, and I can't remember what the other one was, but one of them will turn off love, and another one will turn on love, or less love, more lust. So to me, when I see this, I'm like, aha, like there is some divine luck that's possibly is working here, but it may be like be careful what you wish for, basically, is kind of how I see offers. Like there is more than one option. So moving forward, this is just ways that I would see this as a lucky card, because seven is traditionally a very lucky number for many in of the European diaspora, and also horseshoes and horses. So I would definitely see Chariot as more of a lucky card. And then the big one is the Wheel of Fortune. So the Wheel of Fortune, and I didn't really know this actually until I started doing the research with this, but the Wheel of Fortune, like this is actually Fortuna. Like it's not like this is her, Fortune's wheel, and this is a symbol for her. So I always saw the wheel as like kind of something separate from the deity, but really we're seeing a goddess that's actually the goddess in action. The goddess is the wheel. And Fortuna has a very complicated and mixed history, and had a lot of influence at the time that the tarot was designed and created. So when we see Fortune's wheel, Fortuna is often depicted or traditionally as a ship's rudder, the wheel of fortune, or even a cornucopia, a horn of plenty. So she might be in bad luck or good luck. Interestingly, she can be represented, and she has in the past, as veiled and blind. like she is the counterpoint to justice. Whereas justice is blind, but there's definitely the scales that we are bringing things into alignment. Fortuna is blind in her just random way of applying good luck or bad luck. She is definitely the chaos uh, element to justice's order element. Within medieval thought, the wheel characteristically has four selves. We see three in this picture, but the tradition of it is like this guy who's climbing here is known as regnabo. I shall reign. And then at the top, you see he's got a crown. Regno, I reign. I'm sorry if I'm messing this up, but and then you have the regnavi. I have reigned. I'm on my way down. Now, sometimes you'll see a fourth character down here, and that is sum sine regno. I have no kingdom. And so medieval representations of fortune emphasize her duality and instability. Um, so in modern literature, she's sometimes synonymous with Lady Luck. Um, and her wheel is less used as a symbol. And more often you'll see like the roll of the dice for Lady Luck. Fortuna is associated with gamblers. Um, so when the Wheel of Fortune shows up, I tend to see that as luck that is still entirely out to debate. Like we cannot call it. Like it is anybody's guess whether this is going to happen or not. But it could have an extreme outcome either way. And it's like right now, Fortuna has taken her wheel and she's spinning it, and she's not showing us how she's not letting us look past the veil on the probability on that. Now, I do want to mention that 10, right? The 10 consists, if we break it out numerologically, you have both the Fool and the Magician, which I thought was rather cool when you think about it. So the three cards that are the most important in traditional medieval thought and game playing all are connected numerologically. I had never made that connection before, which I thought. So here we have Le Mat and Le Bateleur, and that is the Contatori, right? Which is, I don't need to play by the rules, and something crazy is going to happen. And then we see the queen of both of those archetypes, which is Fortuna. So there's another card that I really felt like I wanted to talk about, and that is the Death card, which actually traditionally is just card 13. There's no word on it. You see, there's no word. So as here you have Le Bateleur, they all have titles. This is given no title. But for me, when I see the card without a name, and we look and see that death comes for everyone, and you see that you have someone with a crown over here, someone who looks kind of peasanty with his foot on him. I feel like this is when we're talking about luck readings. To me, I see this as death comes for everyone. That this is fated. There is no free, like you cannot nudge the chance or probabilities on this. Like it just ain't going to happen. So there's no free will here. There's no chance in the matter. And there's probably not going to be a deity that's going to like come and and save this situation. Like this is what is done. So, and that's how I actually tend to read the death card, less about death, but more like a stop sign. Like this, like we can't, there's nothing we can do about this right now. We can't shift this, we can't change this, that this thing is in play. So that's kind of the quick and dirty when it comes to the Marseille. But I think when we're looking at like the RWS or other decks, we can see how luck can work for us. Whatever symbols are important to you, and you can put that into your game, or I mean your games, your tarot readings, in ways that are statistically or otherwise important to you. So this deck is I kind of pulled out some decks I haven't really played with in a while. This one is it's called the 8-bit tarot. It's totally out of print. I think it was like a real small run thing, but I just thought it was so adorable. So the 8-bit tarot, let me see if I can get any closer to this and get this. Okay. So the ones I would look at is I would look at Queen of Coins, because in European luck cosmology, like you have the rabbit's foot or the rabbit. And so with Queen of Coins, we definitely have the rabbit right here. So for me, this would be a more lucky card, more of like yeah, the chances are kind of a little bit in your favor. And then when I look at but like 6 of Coins, you might be like, oh, yeah, like someone's going to help you out. Like there's a chance. But to me, the scales here kind of nullify that. So this to me would not be a lucky card as much as it would be like a karma card, or like something's been earned and is coming back, rather than chance or intervention. And then I thought like an unusual, unlucky card, if we are going to go by like traditional ways of looking at luck, is the black cat, right? Like, so traditionally, and don't hate me. Listen, I've got 2 black cats. They can cross my path all day. I personally love them and I think they're lucky. But if we want to look at it from a traditionally like European kind of what are the symbols of good luck or bad luck, we may want to see the Queen of Wands as a bad luck card because of the black cat. So just another way to look at it. I think that is kind of cool and unusual, that you may find kind of fun too. You can also look at, so I pulled out a few other decks that I'm having fun with recently. And this one is the Julie Kuchia Watts, the Matte Tarot, which it's a big one there. Let me pull back. I love this deck. So beautiful. So even if you have like a non-standard Marseille, non-standard, I didn't even go through the Thoth and I should have. Oh, wow. We can look at these non-standard, more artistic decks and still find our own luck in them. So for here, I saw like, again, we have the Fool, which to me is maybe harking to that like Heyoka, the sacred fool shaman kind of idea. We see that here. There is the 3 of Cups, which are the 3 fates. So we do see the spinning wheel and we see the 3 Norns, 3 fates here. So, sometimes we can read cards in non-standard ways. And we go, if it's about luck, I'm going to read this about luck more than I am about 3 of Cups, which often means like celebration or birth. I thought this was a really great image. 5 of Swords, right? So 5 of Swords is like often like you win at the cost of others, and there could have been maybe something a little moralistically questionable. And I love that this card, they are indeed playing cards. And you got this guy over here. He's like trying to keep it cool, but his friend is not giving him any help, is he? He is straight up like, will you stop telling on your friend? But then we have this guy over here, right? With his hidden card. So depending on the question, this would be like, it would be like more like that, the Batelor, like luck happens through some kind of sneakiness, or sneakiness screws with your luck in some way. Oh yeah. One of the meanings of in Europe that is like of luck, a symbol of luck, is also the well. And so I wanted to also show this bad boy, 5 of Coins, because what we have here, and Christina, if you're still here, because you're coming to Ireland, you're going to see this exact beautiful image in a month. So excited. Okay. So we have 5 of coins, which is they are tossing, making a wish, tossing, trying to curry the favor of luck being more in their favor, right? Which is often what a wish is. And they are tossing into a sacred well. But above them, these are all in Ireland are known as clúti ties. And clúti ties are you make a wish and then you tie the clúti tie on like the tree, often around the well. This is definitely folk magic in its most beautiful and simplest form. Oops. And then finally, we have Ace of Coins here. So Ace of Coins, like to me, I love that it's heads up because I know that, see a penny, pick it up the rest of the day, you'll have good luck. But it should be heads up. If it's tails, don't pick that dang penny up, right? So I see this as like, some lucky random chance showing up for you. Now, finally, I did want to kind of bring another deck that I thought had some interesting imagery in it. This last one is Pagan Other Worlds. This came out in 2015, 2016. Excuse me. I'm not quite sure. I remember. But there was a couple of things that I thought were interesting in some of the imagery in this deck. So 9 of Cups, you have a frog, which has traditionally been a card of like lucky fortune. Frogs are known to be lucky to many. And then the final card that I wanted to show you is so among like pagans, there is a lucky symbol of like swans flying. If you see them flying from right to left, that can be a lucky like symbol or lucky occurrence. But I wanted to show you this one because I thought it was really fascinating. You have 9 of Swords. So you have those swan wanting to head into the direction of luck. But as you see, the swan has been chained. I'll move in a little. So good luck has been constrained in some way. And of course, this card is 9 of Swords, right? Nightmare. So luck has been stopped by what? We don't know. So that pretty much ends my talk on luck and tarot. I hope you found this really interesting. I know that because of what I've done here, I'm definitely going to be reading tarot in a different way and really thinking about some traditional gameplay models, especially with the Marseille, to help me get a sense of what kind of luck energies are we working with? Are we working with deity luck? For good or ill? Are we looking at chance and probability or something in between? Is it something we can nudge? Or is it something that we just have to let go of and see what happens? So that is it. Does anyone have any questions before I go? If not, I hope you found this a really interesting talk. I loved doing the research for this and thinking about this in this way. I am now moving to Instagram, where I'll be talking about this again with the other platform. Mea culpa. Next week, I will not be here. I was going to do spring readings for spring, but then decided I needed to actually celebrate spring. And so I will be out of town for a couple of days. But the Wednesday after that, I am having the wonderful Stephen Bright, and we're going to talk about his new book, the Oracle Creator. It's a great book, highly recommend. All right, guys. I wish you a very happy St. Patty's Day tomorrow, and wishing you good luck. Thanks for tuning in, guys, and goodbye.